So this is another thing I don't understand. Costa, my friend, or my ex-friend, he didn't have much money. So he was very meticulous. And when he rode his motorcycle, because he didn't have a lot of money, it was a cheap form of transportation. Miles per gallon are EPA estimated, the estimated miles per gallon, much higher on a motorcycle. That's why he rode his motorcycle. He didn't have a car. He had a truck, Lorenza, but he didn't drive that much, hardly ever. And he rode his Enduro in the wintertime as well. Not money for taking Uber or Lyft or anything else. Couldn't afford it. But he also had before, he rode his motorcycle boots, his leather jacket, his helmet, his riding pants. So he had great gear. Making sure, because he couldn't afford to be injured. So he had great gear. But he rode his motorcycle in the winter. When it was snowing or whatever, his Enduro, because it was dirt cheap. And so I'm around these people, like my friend Pete. His father and mother died of cancer. He's meticulous with his health. I'm around Simon. Father and mother died of cancer. He's meticulous with his health. These people are very risk averse. So you're telling me that all these people don't care about getting injured. They don't care about the negative consequences. They can afford the tickets. They can afford the negativity. Because that's what you're showing me. And I've been around the opposite. Where even if they had money, if somebody in the family, if they had a history of it, like, Angela Jolie, what did she have? Because she had a history of family of an aggressive form of breast cancer, she had a double mastectomy. As a risk prevention, they took both her breasts. Lots of money, but she didn't want to get sick. She didn't want to have breast cancer. So, to get rid of the possibility, she had a double mastectomy. So, very risk adverse. Don't want it. Don't want the risk. They remove the risk. The thought of getting breast cancer, fuck that. And so she had them removed. So it's interesting on how these people go around with no fear. They drive with no fear of getting tickets, no fear of getting in accidents, no fear of getting sick. Truly, they have no fear. I go to Shy Cafe. Just buy it now, but I watch. And I go in. And these people have no fear. You said Chinatown and the Chinese, COVID-19 and everything else. Well, I didn't see any of that fear. Where somebody's like, this table's dirty, clean it. So it's interesting. I go all these places and they don't have the natural response. The survival response. like Angelo Jolie, cut out my fucking breast. So it's interesting. I go around and these people don't have these survival responses that all of my friends did. And me minimizing this, minimizing that. Truly, like I've been around filthy rich people that have been poor. Like my brother. Say, Carl, it's the same thing. He never wants to be poor again. He's a penny pincher. David made a shitload of money, owned a bank and everything, but was ultra poor. Still a penny pincher. Never want to taste poverty again. So they were very frugal. Jen, same thing. Very frugal. So it's interesting on how these people, like the cab drivers, the reason they eat at the cab stands is because it's dirt cheap. But I've been in the cab stands. The pricing is dirt cheap. Now they're eating at Subway. $13 sandwiches, chips, drink, $15. No big deal. Wow. The rideshare business must be paying really well. Because when I was doing Uber and Lyft, I wasn't eating at Subway and that. I was eating at McDonald's value menu or Taco Bell's value menu. So it's interesting on how all these people have so much fucking money that they're burning it left and right. Like the person tailgating me. Right now, they don't care about their insurance rates. That an accident might drive up their insurance rates and they might have to pay hundreds of more dollars. No one cares about points anymore. Because when you get tickets, you get points. And those points drive up your insurance rates. But insurance rates must be ultra low in that. Because no one's worried about the points. It's not only the ticket paying, but it's the points on insurance where your rate goes up upon renewal. No one's afraid of anything anymore. Everywhere I go, it's fucking high risk. They don't care about the points. They don't care about the tickets. They don't care about anything. So they must be gushing money and they must have the most excellence of everything. I ate at Wendy's today. I'm not going back and buying that meal again. The fries were shit. The sandwich was shit. Not going back. But these people, like the person behind me, they can take risks. They can tailgate. Must be filthy fucking rich. Look at this guy. Look at that. FR 34308 Illinois. Must be filthy fucking rich to tailgate like he did. That he's not worried about the points he gets on his ticket, on his insurance from the accident, driving up his rates. I sure was. I don't tailgate or anything. Why? Because I'm afraid of driving up my insurance rates. But they're not only not afraid of their insurance, they're not afraid of getting a ticket, and they're not afraid of road rage. They're not afraid that somebody might have a gun and blow their fucking brains out. or have a baseball bat and take it to their fucking vehicle. I mean, they're just not afraid. And that's what constantly... So I've never seen this before. 2016 and before, no one would do that. They're afraid of road rage. They're afraid of getting points on their insurance and their rates going up. They're afraid of paying for the tickets. They're afraid of having to go to court and everything else. But no one's afraid of anything anymore. So it's interesting that all these people must be sick. Like, I'm diabetic. I watch my stuff. Truly. And even as I watch my stuff, I have to watch it even better. But, wow. Because if you're not watching your shit, when you're incredibly healthy and you're burning and everything's good, you tend to be more risk-free, like climbing mountains and everything else, because you're healthy. When people worry, they wear knee braces and other things, like they did in college football and that. The offensive line worrying about knee damage and the future of their career. They wear knee braces. Now, no one's afraid of anything. Like this car right next to me. It doesn't care if it hits me. And it doesn't care that it's tailgating me. Truly. And it doesn't care that I might want to kill them. So it's interesting. And Uber and Lyft, I guess they don't deactivate anyone because they deactivated me. Both Uber and Lyft terminated me. And I didn't do anything wrong. Truly. I got attacked. I got my life threatened. And they terminated me. So none of these people are worried about being deactivated, getting their cabbie license pulled, because with tickets, they can yank your license to drive a cab. They can yank your livery license. They can yank your CD license, CDL license. No one cares. It's amazing. How is this possible? That everybody can do all these things and they don't care. Serial killers, they care. They're very cautious. Truly. Unbelievably, like John Wayne Gacy and that, I studied all these serial killers. They're very cautious about what they do. They're not reckless. So, it's amazing that these people that commit crimes, like my friend Corey used to deal, he had cameras and everything when he dealt drugs. Seeing everybody that's pulling up and everything else. Then he had a safe and a safe room, and it's interesting. And he only dealt with people that he knew, well vetted. Truly, he never got in trouble dealing, because everybody he dealt with was well vetted. He didn't take any strangers. The first time I went over by his place, he rejected me. He had to get more confirmation on my background and everything. So it's interesting. All these people, wow, fly by the seat of their pants. That tells me they're not afraid of anything. And number one, not afraid of God at all. They don't give a shit about the Bible, that's for damn sure. They don't give a shit. It's all cheap grace. No matter what they do, they can be forgiven for anything. They're not afraid of God. They're not afraid of law enforcement. They're not afraid of the insurance companies. They're not afraid of getting sick and going to the hospital. They're not afraid of getting injured. They're just not fucking afraid. It's amazing. In Chicago, they have safe passage. Why would you have safe passage zones? Because you're afraid of getting hurt. Afraid of getting hurt. That's what safe passage zones are about. Those people set up those parameters because the people that operate are afraid of getting hurt. Wow. That's why you have safe passage zones. Because you set them up so people don't have to worry about getting hurt. So the essence of them is the fear of getting hurt. So it's interesting. None of these people fear anymore. No one fears getting hurt. They move around fearlessly. No worries about any ramifications to anything they do. They don't worry about their reputation. They don't worry about anything that it would taint them, that would ruin their family, that their family would be disgusted with them. They don't care. Look at this. They don't care. That never happened before 2016. People are fearless now. They don't care what their families will think of them or their friends because there's no more shaming. So they don't care how they dress. They don't care how fat they get. They don't care about anything. As I was watching the Kentucky Derby, the girl wasn't worried about her looks. Really, the Kentucky Derby is all about looks. Especially females. Everybody's peacocking around, showing off their greatest clothes and hat. And it's all about looks. People get dressed up and go to the Derby in their finest clothing. So it's interesting. You see these people. It's no worry about their... Really? Well, I've been watching the Derby for a long time, and I've never seen that. Because they talk about the looks, and the ladies are wearing this, and this is in fashion, and here are the drinks, and, you know, it's one big festival. My friend Mike Weiser used to go every year and tell me about the Derby. Him and Rob Turbler, and they come back and they tell me about what they experienced. And I watch it, and then I had ground intel. So it's funny, no one's worried about anything anymore. And I know drug dealers, they hid it from their families because they didn't want their families to know. They didn't want to get this, you know, like Ross, a friend of mine. He never told his father he dealt cocaine or anything, or his sister. Now, his other brother might have known, but again, pretty shy about, you know, letting people know that they're doing something illegal. So it's interesting, and I hang out with these people. And again, he was ultra cautious on who he sold anything to. He didn't want to get busted and it show up on his criminal record. He did mortgages and other things, and he didn't, because, you know, you might lose your license. So, again, I don't get it. People operate fearlessly now. That they're not worried about showing up in the paper. Truly, they're not worried about police beats. Like at the U of A, people didn't want to be in police beats. Showing up in police beats was a very bad thing. People at the house and everything else, my fraternity, you didn't want to be in police beats. Because it got posted to the wall and you got shamed and you could get kicked out of the fucking house. It was a serious fucking thing to end up in the newspaper. So, I don't get it. I mean, people are just fucking fearless now. It's unbelievable. They don't fear anything. So, I don't get it. There's no more shaming. I mean, I used to go out with Costa, and if I did anything in the past, that he used to remind me constantly that you need to be better. And I don't do shit wrong. But any chink, he would rip into me like no tomorrow. Like about getting car tires. And I used the Costco compared to the tire center or whatever. And one was a club warehouse pricing, the other is not. And he said, that isn't fair that you use warehouse pricing. Well, I have a membership, and either I'm going to go to the warehouse or I'm going to go to them, so they got to beat or match warehouse pricing and give me some other value above and beyond, that I would choose them over going to Costco. But even he was worried, truly, and I respect that. And it was all about, was I being fair enough? Truly, was I being fair? And I said, yeah, I'm being fair. I'm not lying. I have a membership. And this is what the pricing is. And if they want my business, they're going to have to match or beat it. Truly, they're going to have to add something, because I get points from Costco and other things. So you're going to have to give me something of equal, really greater value. And they did give me something of greater value. So they got the business. But even him, I get conversations all the time about, is it fair enough? These people don't give a shit about fairness. Wow. But Costa, because, being very scarce with resources and everything, being fair is very important to him. Like Michael Kang, he was a lawyer. And he would scrutinize every meal on the menu. The portion size, he would ask them 20, 50 questions about the food, how much food, is the soda got free refills? He wanted to know, to maximize his dollar. His family came over as immigrants. They were poor. They weren't throwing money around. They were looking for value. And so I sit there and I understand. I never criticize them. I understand you got a lot of questions before you order something on the menu. Making sure. And so when we go to places, he asks tons of questions, whether it's a Chinese restaurant or not. He wants to know he's getting his fucking value. So it's interesting that way. That now people, like my sister, she double-checked her fucking register tape and everything, making sure she got her value. And she compared products. She was shopping for 10 people, herself and 9 others. At one time, shopping for 12 because she had me and my brother. So she would scrutinize things, making sure the pricing and everything else. Like she didn't go to Akira. Too high a pricing. That they were in Northbrook Court. I recommended my nieces and that go over. And they said, nah, pricing, they're too expensive for us. My sister said, no, not good enough value proposition. And I bought a pair of shoes, is my only thing, and they were on their sales rack. That's the only thing I've ever bought at the store. Not because I didn't want to, because I couldn't afford shit. And so I still have those pair of shoes. They're black van type boat shoes. But at DSW, all the shoes I got were on the discount rack at DSW. And then I got my $10 coupon from them. And I used my points. And all those were at 40% off. And then I wait for it. Some of it too high. I wait to see if it goes down, because eventually it would go down if no one buys it. But some things I lost out on because they bought it before it was discounted further. But if it was too high, I wait for the further discount. And I shop at, and I only bought shoes on the rack that were discounted. They were clearing out. That's the only shoes. So my shoes that I have, I got minimum 40% off plus $10. And that would have been another, well, more than 10, 20% off, because all of them are under $50. I forget how low, but it's another 20 to 30% off with the $10 thing. It's the same thing at, the cosmetic store. I get the magazine with the discount, and I have my other discounts. But things must be really good. People don't worry about their credit card points. They don't worry about anything anymore. Fucking money must be overflowing. I mean, you must have so much money and so not worried about the money disappearing, because I had clients like that. They had pensions with a 5% COLA, cost of living. And every year they knew they were getting hundreds of thousands of dollars, and it was going up by 5%. They spent every fucking penny. Because next year they had several $100,000 again. They knew the pension was guaranteed. They knew it was going to be there. And so they didn't worry about money. And they used it all for themselves. Their kids were older, and They weren't looking to live. He's an ex-judge. He worked, and he continued on working, getting a second pension from the Park District. Retired with a pension from the judge. Started a job as a lawyer for the Park District, working on his second pension. So the first pension has nothing to do with the second. So he was accumulating pensions. So he was stacking pensions. He was in his 60s, and they traveled a lot. He got, I forget how many weeks off working for the Park District. And they went on an African safari and all kinds of shit. Because they had the first pension coming in, which was a couple $100,000. At 5%, it went up. Every year, 5%. Compounded. Not simple. So I see all these different aspects. It's like Adam Hutzler. His parents were filthy rich. He was careless because they had so much money that mommy and daddy could take care of anything. And it cost mommy and daddy gravely. And they got run out of Deerfield because kids got killed with his carelessness. But again, he was so careless because mommy and daddy taught him they'll always be to his rescue. They're mommy and daddy's boy, and our deep pockets are your deep pockets. Well, that did them wrong. They paid dearly for making their kids thinking their money is his money. I tell my clients, your money is not your children's money. Grow up with that adage. Like my friend Evan, he got $5 million from his father and blew it. And then came back and said, can I get some more of my inheritance? You're lucky I gave you the $5 million. You're disinherited. My money is not your money. I have conditions with my money. And he cut them off, and he lost everything, his house, everything. Teaching him, my money is not your money, nor should you expect getting money from me. So he had to go down and, he dated Shannon Doherty and everything, big. Well, now you're a fucking bartender. And you have nothing. And you got to pay all your own bills and clean. So he stopped being the party boy. Because, number one thing, your money is not their money. But it's like here, anything I do, it seems like they think it's theirs, the country, and they have a right to everything. Anything and everything I do is the property of the United States. And they have a right to everything. And they can take everything. And they can suppress me and take it, and it's all theirs. And it's for the benefit of the country and everything else. That's a bunch of fucking bullshit. Our founding fathers believed fiercely in the private property. That my shit isn't the country's shit. And I can give my wealth to whoever I want to give it to. So again, that's with trusts and everything. And they set it up and they give it in the direction they want to. And if they want to give it to support kids in China or India, they have every right to. Or if they wanted to support African elephants or wildlife in China, say, the panda or whatever, they have every right to. Not a penny to this country. That's their choice. And it's all legal. So, I don't understand, because I did advanced state planning and everything else. And I used to be with, the Illinois estate planning attorneys, their association. I was a guest. I went numerous times, looking at being a formal member. But again, lots of conversation. Your money goes where you want it to go. As long as you're not funding terrorism or anything, you're free to put your money wherever you want. So, again, if the country wants it, then they're good to you. And if the country doesn't want it, then they teach me that they shouldn't get shit. But some reason, this country thinks that everything should be theirs. That it should be just given. Yeah, piss all over America. Sweet! See? They don't believe in anything good. They desecrate over everything. They can do what they want. They fear nothing. If that's what he was doing, because it looked like it, that's what he made it look like. So, shit. It's a fucking free-for-all. So no one cares that, that incident, you're going to be banned from Hollywood. No more blacklist. Do whatever you want. Your star will shine bright, that you don't have to worry. Then why did Mel Gibson fall? And all he did was get drunk and, rant while he was drunk. And all of a sudden, shit hits the fan and he's blacklisted. Wow. I don't know. Mel Gibson felt the sting. Robert Downey Jr. lost everything. It's, wow, these people, they don't fear. And they're not superstars. They don't have an incredible resume of goodwill. That's what I laugh with God. You have no goodwill with God, and then you go out and do everything and think you're going to heaven. I mean, it's a fucking joke. So these people work their fucking ass off their whole life. Like General Petraeus with his thing. His cheating on his wife and that, and he worked, and he's in Mosul, and he put his life on the line continuously for this country, and he did that, and boom, fucking stripped of this, stripped of that, stripped of this, and these people went out there and continuously fought the terrorists. Nick Berg getting his head cut off, those were the terrorists in Mosul before ISIS, where he did the surge. And he crossed the line and he loses everything. And so I look at it and I'm like, wow, these people dedicated their life to this country. Fucking worked their ass off. Went there and had fucking people shooting to kill them, to blow them up with suicide vests and everything else. And then they commit adultery. And they come back and they lose fucking everything. American Sniper, Chris Kyle, fucking doing all that, comes back, gets over PTSD, and then some fucking guy puts a bullet in his head. Or my friend Chucky Lemieux, putting his life on the line for this country, Desert Storm, and Truly. And then comes back and some fucking drunk driver kills him. But these people aren't afraid of losing anything, and they don't have that type of goodwill. Putting your life on the line continuously. These people, don't have any of that, and then they go out and do evil, like these people, these black kids, and they act like they have some type of goodwill. The gangbangers in it, they've done nothing for this fucking country. They've terrorized it. And then they get caught, and we're supposed to be so kind to them. Where I watch my friends and myself that put their life on the line for this fucking country continuously, and I get treated like fucking garbage. And they expect to get treated with excellence. It's like this motherfucker gives me some nasty fucking look, the white trash motherfucker. How can they do that? How? They've done nothing for the fucking country. I mean, nothing. And nothing for the fucking world. But somehow, they can give me a look of disapproval. Wow. What a fucked up world we live in. Because somebody would take it to them and beat the living fucking hell out of them. Teaching them their place. But all these people, they drive around like I can do whatever I want. How the fuck is that possible anymore? Where is the great fucking shame? Where you do that, you cross the line and you lose everything. Even Jesse Jackson was outed for his adultery. So again, I'm at a loss. And the only reason he survived is because of his civil rights. You know, he did all these great things. But how about Herman King? He was running for president. And his adultery, he had to step down. He got great shame. It's interesting, but I come out here and all these motherfuckers think they're the Teflon Don. That they can't be touched. Because that's what I'm around. That's what everybody shows me. They must be John Gotti. And they're the Teflon Don. And they got all these assassins working for them. Because John Gotti, he was protected by Sammy the Bull and many others that would blow your fucking brains out in a heartbeat. Not figuratively, literally, they would take you and kill you in a heartbeat. So, I don't get it. I don't get any of this. Who are these people? How do they have that mindset? Because I watched the greatest of people get destroyed. Or how about David Hasselhoff in his video with his daughter and that? Baywatch and everything else. And then he does that drunken thing. And it was recorded, his daughter, and he's destroyed. Loses his reputation in Germany, United States, and you don't hear about him much anymore. He still suffers from all of that. How about Lance Armstrong with his doping? He doesn't go around and people are like, oh, Lance, you're going to be our keynote speaker, and Lance, come over here. He doesn't do any speaking engagements. He lost everything, and he got great shame. He lost his medals and kicked out of cycling and got shamed, kicked out of his foundation. No one brings him in for speaking. So it's interesting. And he won the competitions, the Tour de France. I watched. I was a big cycling guy. He was awesome. And he didn't take steroids. He was doing blood doping. Oxygenated blood. But you can literally do that legally if you know about iron and certain mixes that you can oxygenate your own blood. So he didn't have to do anything illegal. He was just an idiot. He didn't research it and found out, well, I can do this legally. And it doesn't violate the doping. But again, I watch all these people go down incredibly, and they've done years and years and years and incredible things, and their shit is shattered. These people walk around without a fear that their life could be shattered. It's interesting on how they have no fear. Wow. It's amazing how fearless they are. I mean, it's unbelievable. That they don't care about the police. They don't fear them. They do whatever they want, whenever they want, and they fear no ramifications. But you sick these motherfuckers on me constantly. And I literally don't do any wrong. They attack me. You sick 3 cops after me for a kid who threw out a piece of paper who I was a block away or so, and you send them and they're threatening to put me in jail and everything, but somehow these motherfuckers, and then they don't fear internal affairs, that they'll be fucking written up and locked up and their careers will be ruined and they'll be in jail and they'll rape the shit out of them as a police in jail. They will fuck them over in jail. Because being a cop in jail is a death sentence. They hate you motherfuckers. But they don't fear going to jail anymore. They don't fear the ramifications that they would get in jail. That their life would be constantly on the line because everybody around them hates their fucking guts. They would have no friends. They would be in perpetual fear. But I guess they don't understand that anymore. That used to be things that cops didn't want to get busted doing illegal shit because they went in. They're fucked. They have no friends on the inside. So that used to be a silvering thing. They keep them out of and keep them. They wanted to stay out, and it kept them honest. The fear that if they went in, they would be fucked up beyond belief. So, where is the fear anymore? Everybody walks around fearless. Wow. They don't worry about immense ramifications. It's interesting. They're just purely fearless. They're John Gotti, the Teflon Don that walks around with all these hitmen. And again, I know lots of mafia people. And they would end you in a heartbeat. So, all these people, they're just so powerful. They walk around with so many protection, with so many people that would chop you up in a heartbeat. They have no fear anymore.